Modern industrial warehousing in emerging markets requires a significant physical footprint. Organizing millions of distinct stock-keeping units inside facilities spanning dozens of acres is a complex logistical challenge. Globally, the market for automated storage and retrieval systems, or ASRS, is expanding at a steady, predictable baseline of 9 to 11% annually. This chart maps global ASRS growth against the Indian market forecast. While the global baseline remains flat, India's industrial warehouse market is projected to reach $869 million by 2031. That is an 18.9% compound annual growth rate. This rapid adoption occurs while market penetration remains below 8% of eligible floor space. This data confirms India is experiencing a catch-up phase rather than reaching mature market saturation. The central question for logistics analysts is identifying the driver behind this level of capital expenditure in a region historically defined by high availability of manual labor. Supply chain professionals typically assume that heavy automation is driven entirely by a need to optimize labor costs and protect profit margins. Saving money on labor is a factor, but the anchor driving the most critical sector of this market is a strict, non-discretionary regulatory mandate. We can test the standard financial model by looking at the largest current demand pool, e-commerce fulfillment. This sector accounts for roughly 30% of 2024 revenue, generating an estimated $79 million in ASRS demand. The logistics required here are extensive. India's e-commerce gross merchandise value exceeded $60 billion in fiscal year 2024. Market leaders like Flipkart and Amazon operate over 60 fulfillment centers, covering more than 25 million square feet. Look at this visualization of the ROI threshold for e-commerce. At this scale and volume of SKUs, manual picking operations consistently generate error rates of 1.5 to 3%. Compound those fulfillment errors with an annual labor cost escalation of 8 to 12% in Tier 1 cities. The mathematical output of these pressures is clear. Deploying mini-load and goods-to-person ASRS systems delivers a reliable 3 to 4 year payback period. A 3 to 4 year payback is a highly compelling metric for an operations manager. However, it remains a discretionary capital expenditure designed to maximize margins. A company can choose not to automate and simply absorb the inefficiencies. E-commerce economics explain the high volume of automated systems being built, but they do not account for the mandatory spending required in other sectors just to secure global market access. The most structurally sound application for ASRS in the Indian market is pharmaceutical warehousing. The economic stakes are high. India's pharmaceutical export market surpassed $25 billion in 2024. Governing that revenue is a complex web of compliance standards, Schedule M revisions under the Drugs and Cosmetics Act, and the strict traceability mandates of the DSCSA for export-oriented operations. Beyond local laws, companies targeting international markets must pass World Health Organization Good Manufacturing Practice audits. Here, we see the structure of those $25 billion in exports. The revenue depends entirely on over 600 USFDA-approved manufacturing facilities distributed across the country. To maintain approval, regulators demand these exact facilities operate validated, audit-trail-capable storage environments. In strict regulatory environments, capital expenditure on an automated storage system is not a productivity investment. It is the mandated price of admission to participate in global trade. We have to examine exactly how warehouse hardware translates into legal compliance. The primary physical architecture deployed to meet these standards are vertical lift modules and mini-load systems. Looking at this model of a vertical lift module, the hardware itself is useless for compliance without its digital framework. It requires direct, integrated connectivity with a central warehouse management system interface. When a single pharmaceutical lot moves into the VLM, the management interface instantly generates a digital log, ensuring exact lot-level serialization. Simultaneously, continuous temperature data points flow directly into the log, creating the precise documentation auditors look for. A human picker cannot reliably log perfect serialization data and continuous temperature metrics across millions of SKUs without eventual error. Integrating physical lift modules with a strict management system completely eliminates the human variable, guaranteeing an unbroken digital audit trail. Facilities deploy this technical architecture to secure international market access, proving absolute data integrity to regulators. These technical designs are currently being built across India's industrial hubs. This map tracks primary distribution centers adopting these systems: Sun Pharmaceutical in Ahmedabad, Dr. Reddy's laboratories in Hyderabad, and Cipla in Pune. Commissioning these automated installations requires an estimated capital investment of $3 to $8 million per facility. These localized investments coincide with the China Plus One supply chain diversification trend, which is routing global manufacturing volume directly into India. Alongside pharmaceuticals, manufacturing expansions driven by production-linked incentive schemes across 14 distinct sectors, as well as cold chain modernization, are adopting this exact compliance-first mindset. As global supply chains restructure to meet these international standards, the basic function of the industrial warehouse is changing. Under strict international regulations, the industrial warehouse functions as an active, automated data server. In this environment, storage is inseparable from legal compliance.